fingerboard ebony and widening the neck slightly to 1 3/4 inches and shortening the neck to 25 1/4. We made a totally different guitar. And they also spaced the strings where I could do the string bend now, because you couldn't do that on a typical gill. They were closer together. So they did all these things on this guitar just structurally. It has an Adirondack top, which I found about 5 or 6 years ago to be the best in the world. They've been doing this since the 60s, maybe even the 50s. But an Adirondack top with Adirondack bracing, even a Sitka spruce top with Adirondack bracing, makes a huge difference in the sound because of the density and the lightness of the wood. There's no other wood like it. It all comes from where they build these, up in that region of the country. And so that's what this guitar became. Basically a kind of a changed over F47. So it's the same size, same shape, and it's kept the integrity of the gill look. Has a Dwayne Eddy G as far as aesthetics. The Dwayne Eddy G, and we talked about this already. And I say Dwayne Eddy G, he had a guitar, a signature guitar in the 60s. First time I ever met Dwayne, I was on the Grand Ole Opry. Sandwiched in between him and Chet Atkins. How would you like to talk about a hero sandwich? But I was on the same show, and he had his old guild. That's what he played on the Opry, and it was his first time ever playing the Opry, and he took the guild. And so I wanted that same G. They don't do that anymore, so they went back and studied his, and that's what they put on here, because he's a dear friend. It has a white rose. There's a song I wrote years ago called White Rose for Heidi about one of my little girls, and I ended up writing a book because it became such a popular story with a lot of folks in Moody Publishing up in Chicago. Heard some of my other stories, so it actually kind of spawned a book of a lot of my life stories. Also, this is an LB6 Lloyd Baggs LB6 pickup. Each string has its own little piezo crystal is built inside the saddle. So you get the individual feel, but you also get a bigger feel because it's all encased in the saddle. This is actually something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it works, and I knew it would. They said, well, you know, we built Eddie Van Halen 80 or 90 pickups. We built, well, Eric Johnson, one of your Texas boys, 380-something pickups. We won't go there. Eric's my friend. Anyway, the first place I ever played this was in his studio. In fact, they shipped it to me at Eric's studio, and I recorded my grandson's song, Cowboy Evan. But they said, we'll build as many pickups as you want and whatever you want to send. I said, no, that's it. I mean, that's what I've been wanting to do. And they put the element, it's what they call a Stage Pro element, which is the same thing that Lloyd Baggs builds, and you see in a lot of churches and a lot of clubs and things where the acoustic guy will just go in and he has all his controls on the floor. Well, if you're on the Grand Ole Opry, for example, one sound check. We've never heard of that. You know, we never had one here anyway. And so I said, I got to have this on here, you know, and if I'm usually by myself. Sometimes I'll have other guys with me, but for the most part, I'm by myself, so I don't have a lot of time to be monkeying around with stuff on the floor. That would be very interesting for the audience. So we put all that in here, and it is the same components that you can see this real expensive floor models. So it's built into the guitar. So there are a lot of things. It has a very easy way to changing it. You just press this and a battery pops out. It also has the tuner on it. So there are a lot of things. This is my model guitar, and the only thing you can't get that I have in mind is a picture of my daddy on the inside of it. I keep Bubba on there and then inside of there. So. Yeah, but it has a really sweet sound. If you want to play something like it, if you're playing the fast stuff, you heard with that? Do something with a little different tuning. The low C, long enough to still hold them. Let me just. We're also coming out with a whole new set of or series of strings and accessories. And so I went. on a little rampage here, trying to. And there's some things I say, oh, good. There's some things I'd like to do. And so, why don't we try? When you're in the studio, you hear a lot of. When you're doing that, you hear a lot. You hear a lot of that. Well, you don't hear that as much on those strings. You'll hear it, but you don't use them as much as you use these. You'll find yourself, using these for your bass. So these two are flat tops, and so kind of like a flat wound, but not quite that much taken off.